This is the Carrier Dome at Syracuse University. You have an opportunity to play football at the greatest stadium in the United States. This is where it's at.
We say to Syracuse, welcome home to the Dome.
For the students, the faculty, and the staff of Syracuse University, I officially cut this ribbon to open the Carrier Dome.
The Dome marks the birth of a new era in college football at Syracuse. For the fans, the Dome is a place where they can make their presence known.
Let's go Orange! Let's go Orange!
I've been to many stadiums in the country on different campuses, and I can honestly say that this is one of the finest facilities I've ever seen.
I think it's the greatest thing that's happened at Syracuse University in a long time.
For the players, weather and field conditions are no longer a problem. For friends and alumni, the Dome is a source of intense pride, a symbol of the importance of intercollegiate athletics at Syracuse University.
Our dome here, the Carrier Dome, is as fine a facility as you'll ever find in the United States. I was totally impressed with it. I walked in the stadium for the first time today, and I was in awe of what I had seen, and I'm just glad I lived long enough to see something as beautiful as that right on the campus.
When I walked into that dome, it was a tremendous feeling to know that this university has grown to this particular magnitude, that Syracuse University can have one of the best facilities in the country.
The new facilities and modern equipment are important to the program, but for the players, the Dome has a special meaning. As they suit up for the first game, they knew a year of away games was finally over. A difficult year with the distractions of travel, strange crowds, and hostile cheers.
It hurt, not having the fans around, classmates, friends, watching you play. They just watch you on TV and you couldn't really hear, them rooting for you.
We played a whole season on the road. We've been traveling a long time. And it's just going to be really great to come back home and playing for all our Syracuse fans.
And their fans were ready to welcome them home. 50,000 screaming people were eagerly awaiting their first house guest, the Redskins of Miami of Ohio. Miami scored a touchdown on their first possession to grab the early lead, but the Orangemen fought back with a methodical 12-play, 78-yard drive that culminated with a pitch-out to star running back Joe Morris. Neither team could gain an edge as each side scored again to stay even at 14-all. Then, early in the second quarter, Joe Flash Morris showed why he has broken all the records at Syracuse as he turned on the afterburners down the sideline. Morris's 94-yard run back for the touchdown was the spark the Orangemen needed. A fired-up Syracuse defense began to dig in against the Miami attack. When the Miami quarterback challenged the Syracuse secondary, an alert Ike Bokoshian rose to the occasion with an interception that led to yet another touchdown by Syracuse. Syracuse was in total control with a 30-14 lead at the start of the second half. And the Orange defense was playing with a spirit that would characterize them throughout the season. late in the third quarter, with their backs against the wall on a 4th and goal from the 1, they refused to yield, denying a determined Miami assault. In the 4th quarter, the offensive line ripped a gaping hole in the beleaguered Miami defense, and Joe Morris, en route to a 171-yard rushing game, did the rest. Joe's diving score was the final blow as Syracuse took a decisive 36-24 win and christened their new home with a heartwarming victory. The warm glow of triumph is an emotion to be savored. But regardless of the score, the team always observes a moment of prayer with Syracuse chaplain Father Charles Borgononi.
Give you thanks, Lord, for many, many things. This beautiful stadium, the camaraderie, but most especially sweet, sweet victory. May we start a winning streak here that'll lead us to great games, even greater. We thank you, Lord. Amen.
Father Borgononi's involvement with the team is not confined to the dressing room. On the field, his support is of a more secular nature.
I enjoy it. I feel I'm very much a part of the game. I know the kids, every one of them personally, and what they do means a lot to me.
The chaplain gets a lot of help from the Syracuse fans. Nothing unites a campus like football, and at Syracuse, the fans come in all variety. But regardless of age or appearance, size or shape, Big Orange Rooters have one thing in common. They love to cheer their team. And there is no doubt that the Carrier Dome and the fans give meaning to the phrase, home field advantage. The Dome is the only structure of its kind in the Northeast, and its 50,000-seat capacity makes it the 5th largest domed stadium in the entire nation. Perfect climate control and a superb view from every seat provide the ultimate in spectator comfort. And football is only part of the story. A multi-purpose structure, the Dome will feature many events and be the new home of the nationally ranked Orange basketball team. And in a quieter part of the Dome, there's a special room to honor a man who has become a part of the Syracuse tradition. The Ernie Davis Hall of Fame room, a multi-purpose meeting facility, is a tribute to one of the truly great running backs in SU history. A man who was tragically struck down by leukemia in the prime of life. Davis was recruited by the legendary Jim Brown. Ernie adopted Brown's number, 44, and his running style, breaking tackles and dragging opponents down the field. He would also break Brown's rushing mark to become the new leader at SU. He led the Orange to an undefeated season and national championship. He became the first black to win the Heisman Trophy. The ultimate accolade came in 1979 when Davis was inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame. Jim Brown, the man who started the legend of number 44, was known for his size and speed and an uncanny ability to elude tacklers. After a brilliant career at Syracuse, he went on to the NFL, where he established a career rushing mark that has stood to this day. Brown had influenced Ernie Davis to come to Syracuse, and Davis continued the tradition with a man named Floyd Little. Floyd also wore the cherished 44, and just as Davis had broken Brown's record, so too did Little pass Ernie to become the new rushing leader. And like Jim Brown, Floyd also enjoyed a successful career in the pros, starring for 9 years with the Denver Broncos. Playing in the shadow of 3 of the greatest running backs in college football was a difficult assignment. But Larry Zonka, number 39, met that challenge head on with brute strength up the middle, bulling his way forward to a new all-time rushing mark at SU. Zonka was the back the Miami Dolphins went to for the hard yardage in their domination of the NFL in the early 70s. Syracuse has always had a tradition of sending vintage players to the pros, and 1979 was no exception. Quarterback Bill Hurley and offensive guard Craig Wolfley were grabbed early by the world champion Pittsburgh Steelers. Hurley's name abounds in the Syracuse record book. He could throw and run with equal success. His favorite receiver, number 45, Art Monk, was another record breaker at SU and caught the eye of the Washington Redskins, who picked him in the first round and pressed him into immediate service as a starter in 1980. Joe Morris is the latest thoroughbred from the Syracuse stable of running backs, and like his predecessors, he is destined for greatness. At 5'7", 180 pounds, Morris is not your typical running back. But then, nothing about Joe is typical. He combines blazing speed with incredible balance. Despite his size, a strong upper body makes him very difficult to bring down. His all-out attitude carried him to a string of 15 100-yard games by the end of his junior year and ensured a strong campaign for the Heisman Trophy in '81. On the day of a game, Joe likes to tour the campus as part of his mental preparation.
Usually on Saturdays when I'm walking to the game, I'm trying to relax. And I walk through campus and I see a lot of things that I haven't seen before.
Most players try to get psyched up to build emotional intensity, but Morris prefers the opposite, seeking to put his mind at ease.
Most important key is for me to relax. I've usually played, the game through my mind 1,000 times, and I know exactly what I have to do. If I'm too tense, I don't play well. But if I'm, relaxed and loose, I can go from the first whistle.
Joe must have been cool as a cucumber in a Syracuse win over Rutgers as he rushed for 157 yards to smash Larry Zonka's record and become the new all-time rushing leader at SU. Although Morris is the big gun in the Orangeman arsenal, the supporting artillery can be just as devastating. Heeding the adage, variety is the spice of life, Syracuse has seasoned their attack with one of the most imaginative offenses in all of college football. They like to run, throw, and use a lot of motion. Their wide-open, explosive offense generates electrifying excitement and gives the statisticians nightmares with the constant record book revisions in the last few years. Like his mentor, Bill Hurley, quarterback Dave Warner poses a multiple threat with his passing and running prowess. And like Morris, he can explode for the big play. Power and muscle up the middle, the classic fullback formula that number 41, Ken Mandeville, executes so well, surging ahead like a human battering ram. The Orangemen play a big-time schedule. Ohio State, Illinois, Pitt, Penn State, Kansas, Navy, Maryland, and Nebraska. With opponents like these, you need more than just an explosive offense.
Defense! Defense! Defense!
The Orange defense was a source of doubt at the start of the season, But a small core of veterans and a surprising performance by some newcomers made this the most improved SU defense in recent years. 5 freshmen and 7 sophomores saw playing time. Their confidence growing each game. But more importantly, this youth will provide the basis for a solid defensive unit, something that Syracuse has needed to complement its fine offensive achievements. The aggressive hustle of players like number 83, freshman Jamie Kimmel, produced both respect and concern among opponents, since the young Orangemen are still maturing and will continue to improve in the coming years.
Push, pump it out, pump it out. A little left. Straight up, lock it out. All right.
What the cheering crowds on Saturday don't see is the long hours of work and sweat during the week. Top physical conditioning is a prerequisite to any athletic competition. At Syracuse, a superb weight training and strength program give the players an opportunity to develop their physical potential through a carefully structured regimen. The hard work and preparation continue during the week at practice, where the all-important physical and mental attitudes are shaped for the weekend clash. But on Saturdays, the preparation is over. In the ebb and flow of a game, coaches and players are on an emotional roller coaster, where a moment of intense regret may be the prelude to a surge of ecstatic rejoicing. In an emotional win over Temple, the Orangemen experienced the unadulterated joy of victory as offense, defense, and special teams performed magnificently, crushing the Owls 31-7 for a total team triumph. But when the time comes for an athlete to hang up his uniform, he must be prepared to pursue a worthwhile career. With a degree from Syracuse University, he can face that day with confidence. Syracuse is one of the largest independent universities in the country. Its outstanding faculty, extensive degree program, and renowned reputation for academic excellence are all part of the Syracuse tradition of superiority. The whole environment at Syracuse is conducive to the development of its students. At SU, progress and development are nourished by the roots of tradition, in the classroom, on the gridiron, and especially on the campus, where old and new coexist in a harmonious relationship of balance. So once again at Syracuse, there's football on Saturdays, but the glamour, excitement, and ritual of the game are on a whole new level of intensity because of the Carrier Dome. Syracuse has always enjoyed good TV coverage, but with the superb facilities and controlled environment of the Dome, the enthusiastic fans, and big-time schedule, the nation's attention will be focused on the Orangemen more than ever. Syracuse is returning to the limelight. The dome is a giant step in that direction. It is part of the Syracuse tradition of excellence. It is a symbol of the university's determination to once again reach the top.
Syracuse football will be on the top, like it was in the 50s and 60s. I have faith in this program.